And as I mentioned last week, I'm going to try and continue with our exploration of how to best contract the dorsal line of the body, the back body, particularly the upper legs. And last week we worked on how that connects to everything above it. The posterior serratus at the bottom of your back ribs, and how that straightens you up and lengthens you in standing poses, seated poses, etc. So I thought we'd keep progressing with that and start to tackle some back bending, because it fits in nicely with that action of the backs of the legs. And in the past, we've used straps to bind the upper legs and the knees, but sometimes going without the props is superior if you can find the action. So make sure you've got your roll towel. I'm going to be working a little bit on a slippery floor. If you have something that you can slide on, we're going to be crawling, and partly to strengthen the back extensors, which allow for at least mild back bending, Shalabhasana, etc. You need to learn how to crawl again. And if you have grandkids or kids that you watch when they first start to ambulate before they get up and walk, a lot of times they're on their bellies, crawling and lifting their head and crawling like so forth. And that action of pulling the arm, contracting the back of the leg on the same side is what we're going for, which will allow us to go into all sorts of fun maneuvers. So if you have some sort of floor, we're going to be doing some slipping and sliding at some point fairly quickly, and that will be useful. If you want to have a towel that makes it a little less harsh, that you're going to slide on the floor, you can have that handy. So at first, take your roll towel. We're going to lay on it and just open that back sheath. For some, this is fairly early. Let me just adjust my computer screen to pin my video here. Okay, so let's do our little back rollout that we've done in the past. And you're going to take your roll towel. How much do you roll it? Up to you. If you are fairly adept at back bending, that's easy for your body. It could be a bigger roll, but I've got about a 3-inch diameter roll. And the first thing we're going to do is place it halfway up the mat. We're going to lay on it in our bent knee bridge pose. Formation with the hips still on the ground. And just take the back of the towel roll to the arch in the cervical spine, and the arms out to the sides of the shoulders. Feet are under the knees. And at this point, you can just let me walk you through it. We're going to be crawling on our backs over the towel roll progressively. But the first step is just to come into your sacral movement with your breath. Inhale, arching the low back and engaging the backs of the legs. And exhale, release. And you'll get a nice tug. Make sure it's gentle on the back of the neck as you inhale and rock the tailbone forward, arch the low back, lift the chest. Let the chin come toward the chest, so it's like a mother cat pulling on the back of the neck of the kitten. And then as you exhale, just flopping back to the normal arch in your low back, head rolling back. Okay, and then stop for a second, just drop your wide space knees and feet to the left. Let your head lay a little lazily to start over to the right, getting a nice massage on the right side of your neck. Stay as long as you like and inhale, switch sides. Coming to center and exhale, knees to right. Head just kind of drapes over that towel roll. Make it comfortable. And just feel those paraspinals and multifidi. Any little small movements that feel good. Do each side again. Knees left, head right. You can even start to action the psoas as we've done in the past by pushing your right knee slightly away from you on the diagonal. And it's going to give you a little deeper stretch through the psoas in the back of the neck. Go easy with your morning body. Inhale to center, knees go right. Head lazily drifts left. Feeling the extension of the left arm, the shoulder blade. You can begin, if you want, to push on the diagonal to the back right corner of the mat with your left knee, lifting your left hip, get a stretch through that left scapula, neck, etc. And then come back to center. And then bring your arms, your forearms up toward the sky like you're going to crawl. And you're going to start rocking from left to right and do the baby crawl. Reaching your arms progressively over the towel roll as you rock from left to right, so you can get just over the rainbow a little bit, over the towel roll, and walk your feet back progressively, inch by inch toward you. And just get onto that next section of your back, the cervical spine at the base of it, where the tops of the shoulder blades are. Now, for some of you, suddenly it's difficult to get your head on the floor without straining. Just prop your hands under your skull and let your elbows bend. And then you guessed, you're going to do your cervical tilts. Inhale, low back rises off the mat while the hips stay down. Chest lifts, chin comes toward chest. Exhale, release. And just start to feed the breath into the wave-like action. If you've got your hands in the back of your occiput, the bony ridges of the skull, you can even experiment. I know there's a couple people with some neck issues. My neck gets cranky. You can experiment with a gentle traction or gentle draw of the skull up toward the front of the mat as you inhale and exhale, release. Okay? And then let's take it from side to side. Inhale and exhale, the knees drop left, head right. And just slowly as you go, inhale to center, knees right, head left. Now this time, make sure your feet are on your knees and bring your arms closer to your hips as we come up to our first bridge. Inhale, roll the shoulder blades back to the palate of the towel roll, then exhale, up you come with the hips not too high, and just hone the backs of the legs. We did this at the end of the week. So really squeeze those outer glutes, back of the hamstrings. Not a lot of pressure on the back of the skull at all. It's almost like you're dragging your tailbone forward toward the heels back toward the tailbone. Then drop down, bring your arms up where you can see them with bent forearms, and you guessed it, a little rocking from side to side, little baby crawl, reaching one arm, the other arm like you're crawling on the ceiling, and get yourself shimmied your back a little bit deeper over the towel roll. Again, if you need to prop up your head with your hands, you can, otherwise arms straight out. And then exhale, knees go left, head goes right. Inhale, knees to center. Exhale, knees go right, head goes left. Just do a couple. Again, you can press on the diagonal with the upper knee, give you a little extra psoas stretch. Don't overdo if it's been only an hour or so since you've woken up. And then we'll bring the arms back toward the hips like bridge, palms to the sky. Make sure the feet are crawled right under the knees. Inhale, rolling the shoulder blade and the shoulders back. And exhale, up you come. Not very much. And you want to mitigate or modulate how much weight is going toward your skull by pulling, using those outer glutes and the upper hammies, pulling your hips toward your heels. If you want extra credit, you can even lift all 10 toes and toe mounds off the ground, so you're only on your heels. The heels are digging into the ground. And then down you come. And you guessed it. Let's do a little crawl. The forearms on the ceiling. Reach, reach, reach. And we go down to the bottom of the back ribs. Bottom of the back ribs. Arms out to sides if you can. Most of you should be able to have the arms on the ground now, palms to sky. Inhale, exhale, knees ski. Downhill skiers. Over to the left, head right. Inhale to center, big breath, exhale, hop. Over to the right with the knees. And the left with the head. And just windshield wiper a few times. Again, adding the psoas stretch, if you want, by pushing the upper knee away from you to lift that hip. Any side movements that feel good, any organic movements feel good on your upper thoracic spine, sometimes looking away, as I mentioned last week, with the head rather than looking toward the opposite arm is better. And then we're gonna bring our feet back under our knees, take our hands to our towel roll, and slide our towel roll under our sacrum for a mildly supported bridge pose. And then we're gonna pull the knees into our hands, pull the knees toward our shoulders, and just take a few breaths, opening the knees wide, keeping the toes touching, like a child's pose on our back. If you have the ability to keep the knees widespread and moving toward you, and just reach your arms up to the sky and back to the floor behind you, so you're on the backs of the wrists, like a child's pose on your back. And just feel for a moment the sliding apart of the shoulder blades away from the spine, the broadening of the fascia that's laying across the ground between the shoulder blades, the lower trapezius and the mid trapezius and the rhomboids. Neck should be comfortable. And then hold your knees again and go ahead and hold your left knee only and start to extend your right leg forward along the ground gently. The toes are pulled back toward you with both legs. And breathe. Papanasana. As we did moments ago when I said you could get extra credit by driving the heel down. See if you can push down a little bit through the right heel and zip up the back of that right leg. You gotta stretch through the front of the right leg, the psoas, right up into that right gut. Now, transfer only your left hand. Keep your left hand only on your bent left knee. And right arm comes up to the sky. Inhale, and exhale, you guessed it, back to the floor again on the back of the wrist. Right arm. Inhale again, and exhale, start to peel open that left knee, halfway to the floor. I don't care how far you peel open. In fact, I want you to keep a little tone in your left gut, your left core belly. But I want you to reach with your breath, extend your breath through the right leg, the right arm, as if you're crawling in a weird way, lengthening the right leg out of the hip joint, lengthening the right arm and shoulder blade overhead. Should feel really good, like you're filling it with helium. Relax the neck and the throat, and then come back to center, holding the knee with both hands, and keep only the right hand on that left knee. The left arm drapes out like a wing as we take a gentle twist. Inhale, and exhale, you're just going to draw the right knee, or the left knee rather, to the right. Little twist, and you can let the head roll where it's comfortable, out toward that left arm. Easy stuff to begin with. You come back to center. You pull both knees in to do the other side. Give them a squeeze. And if you want to take your upside down child's pose with the knees wide, if it feels okay, you reach both arms back. You're on the backs of your wrists. And you can even pull the fingers off the ground like you're holding a pull-up bar in your inverted or upside down child's pose. I've probably gone off your screen a little, so you'll have to hear my verbal cues. Spread the shoulder blades apart away from the spine, nod the chin toward the chest, lengthen the back of the neck. Okay, and then hands come to your knees again, bring them together and hold both hands on your right knee. Extend or slide your left leg fully along the ground. And then start to push into the ground. That long extended left leg, heel, pushing down, toning the back of the leg, keeping your throat relaxed. Hold only with the right hand on that right knee. Left arm reaches up like you're going to shake hands with a cloud to the sky. Exhale, backstroke. Left arm overhead to the ground. It can be on the back of the wrist. And then inhale, lengthen the left leg, the left arm, and exhale, peel open that knee you're holding, right hand. Just breathe and strengthen, dynamically lengthen out of that left hip, through that inner left leg, and then lengthen that whole left shoulder blade up and up and up and away from the spine. So this takes work. Sometimes it feels good to just let your head flop to the right, away from that extending arm. And then reel it back in. Let's pull that right knee back into both hands as we set up for twist, going the other way with the knee. Right arm out like a wing to the ground. Inhale, and exhale, very mild, drawing across to the left, that right knee. So coming back to center, pulling both knees in, taking the knees wide, taking the toes to touch, and your inverted child's pose. Arms back, spread the shoulder blades, spread the back ribs along the floor. Okay, and then let's set the feet down, setting up for our final bridge of this sequence on our backs, our warm-up sequence. Backs of hands, about 6 inches to a foot from the hips. Roll the shoulder blades back to the ground. Inhale and exhale, up come the hips. And you can take one of your hands and release your towel roll as you come down and roll off onto your right side. So, Anandasana. We're on our side body. And we're going to straighten out our legs. So the left is stacked over the right. And we slide down onto our right arm. I'm going to just rotate myself so that everybody can see what's going to go on if they need to take a peek. So let's tone up the legs as we lay on our right side body and see if we can tone our core. And then you're going to just go ahead and take your right knee and bend it and bring it up toward you and lay it on the ground. And then start to crawl your way up to a cobra with both arms coming up. And just take a little peek for a second as we stretch out a little more deeply that right hip flexor. I just want to show you what's going to happen here before you go back onto your back. So, before you do it, here we are. We go down onto our Anandasana with our baby crawl leg. And all I'm going to have you do is pick up that left knee and just roll. So I'm going to use my left foot as a rolling mechanism to roll on the whole right side of the body. You can see what I'm doing here is just letting my head lay on my right arm and spindle, spindle, spindle. And then when I'm done, I set the knee back down and I start to roll onto my back and take a twist. Okay, so let's try that. We're in Anandasana, legs stacked, and we go ahead and pull the left foot up toward us. You can use our left hand as a stabilizer too. And then you're just gonna roll on your right side on all the fascia of the outer hip and the arm, etc. And then see if you can get that left knee down, so you've got a bent left knee. And begin to roll onto the back of your skull. And maybe you can get all the way over and extend the left arm. Maybe you can hook your right hand on your bent left knee. And take a few breaths. Come back and drop the left knee down like we started, like a half lizard. And now that same rolling action, we're going to come into the full pose and see if we can just prop the left foot up on the inside of that right leg and hold. Those that want to take the full pose can, but it's not really our game today to extend that left leg up. Your game is mostly to keep the knee bent, and you can even turn your forehead down and lay it right on top of your right bicep. Okay, so let's roll our bellies back down and shoot our legs together and come up to easy cobra. And here comes the slidey part. So if you're not on a slidey, slippery floor, or if you want to grab a towel and you don't have fabric on your forearms, the feet are pretty close together and your palms are to the sky. All I'm going to do is go for a little weird swimming stroke. But this is critical and super fun, so watch. I'm going to slide my forearms forward and drop my head as I exhale. As I inhale, I'm going to tone the backs of the legs, the glutes, the hammies, and I'm going to pull my forearms back onto my shoulders. Go really slow. Exhale,
like you're offering a tray of food with your palms to the sky, drop your forehead. And then the first thing that lifts you, squeeze those medial glutes, the backs of the hamstrings. Then feel the sequence of the low back, the mid back, upper back. And you're just going to do this 5 to 10 times. Don't rush the lift of the upper body. It's all being directed by the contraction of the backs of the legs, and then the paraspinals from the low back to the upper back. If you get all the way to the top, you can hitchhike your thumbs out, push your hands apart. One more. Squeeze those outer glutes, low back, and up you go. Okay, so this takes us right to the other side, and we can just extend our left arm forward and lay on our left side, stack our right leg over our right. If you need a towel or something underneath your head, so I'm just folding up my towel, putting it as a pillow between my left side of my skull, my left arm, and stay here and take a couple breaths. But then, just for balance sake, we'll take the right foot and bring it toward our line of vision, the knee pointed to the sky. Also got my right hand here. And all I'm going to do, it's really simple. I'm going to just roll out like my left side body is like a rolling pin. And I push with my right foot or right hand. And I'm just feeling all that fascia. The head can roll with the rolling motion, forehead down, and then on the back of the skull. To really become aware of that lateral body. Eventually, as you take an exhale, allow the right knee to find the ground, so you have a half lizard leg. Now on the ground, and just take a moment before we open the twist. Do just what we did on our backs moments ago, lengthen the entire left side of the body. So this is essentially what we did on our backs when we held our knee and moved it out to the side in Papanasana. But for now, we'll start to push with our right hand and start to roll onto our backs. So if your head can't get to the floor, watch this little trick or come up and watch. I can take the back of my left hand and my skull, support it as I roll onto my back. In an easy twist. I return and shoot the right leg back. Come up on my forearms for round 2 of our, let's call it Superman, Superwoman, Shalabhasana prep. So here you are with your forearms parallel, and you slide the towel or the forearms forward, and last moment drop the forehead right about the hairline. Keep the shoulder blades spreading apart as if you're trying to pull the upper arm bones apart. And then press your frontal hip bones to the ground, squeeze the outer glutes, and start to drag the forearms back with the potato chip curling of the muscles of the back. So do about 5 to 10 of these. Experienced yoginis, notice that we're keeping, or I'm having you keep your upper shoulder blade tips protracted or broad. You get up pretty high, again, you can be on your elbows and just turn or let your hands separate apart. So it's a very short trip here to fly to Shalabhasana. You've engaged all the muscles of the back and the glutes. You can drop your forehead down a little, bring your airplane arms back. and take a Shalabhasana with Dekasana arms. And the whole tone of the back body with the legs is floating you up. You can bring your arms to goalposts. Extra credit, you can extend your arms forward, everything covering. And then we'll bring the hands down outside the shoulders, plant the forehead, and come to our full cobra in the same way. Backs of legs, lumbar. When you get to be about halfway up, drop down again. Same action, really important, backs of legs, tone, and then zipping, zipping, zipping. Halfway, you roll down. Now, if you're going all the way up to Cobra, I don't want you to push with the arms. I want you to think of moving the chest forward through the arms and then lifting. And then you can press back and take your real child's pose with the toes curled under. Lay out the arms nice and long. At this point, you can, if you've gone to your bare floor as I had, go back to your mat. And your whole upper body should be, the shoulder blades and back ribs should be so voluminous that to come into a downward dog is going to feel fantastic. So let's try it. We'll come up with our legs, pedal out the feet. To keep that tone, that upward dog sensation working for you in downward dog. So if you're spreading the shoulder blades apart, lifting from the posterior serratus 3/4 of the way down the back, and then come forward to high plank and drop your knees down. Sit back in Virasana on your shins, and then just take a peek. So this is something I teach in class, and it's a paradoxical way to approach back bending, and that is the shoulder blades are protracting, spreading apart, we're bowing, and then we're coming into the back line. How does it play out in a simple movement of cat-cow? We'll watch. So rather than just yanking the spine, arching, curling, we're going to create a wave. We're going to drop back like so. As we exhale, inhale, we keep our head down, our shoulder blades protect and start to come up. And exhale, we go all the way down onto our belly. Inhale, come up. Exhale, roll back. And if you can't do the whole thing, just start to wave like so. Inhale back, scooping the belly in, and exhale forward. So maybe you just got from child's pose to cobra pose. And then bring your knees a little bit closer together and drop the hips to one side as you exhale, inhale, and drop the hips to the other side. And then freestyle. So I want you to warm up your shoulders and just watch. I'm going to move the shoulders and the hips from side to side in circles. And so I can feel the movement of the shoulder blades on the back. So pretend you're like an ocelot or something, and you want to just move all the joints in your arms and your shoulders. And everything across the upper thoracic spine. So a lot of times these yoga poses are so fixed that they deny your body a freedom of movement. Let's move on. And spreading the fingers forward and toes curled under child's pose. Look at your hands and think of that first movement of lifting like an upward dog, and then pick up the legs, downward dog. So your upward dog, or you're lifting, engaging in the back line, is present in downward dog. Let's go ahead and step your right foot forward. Drop your back knee, your left knee down, come up to your low lunge. Place both hands on your right knee, inhale, exhale, sink. So we've already worked on stretching this psoas a little bit already. But let's imagine, again, we're crawling on the ground. So we're going to lift our left arm up to the sky and roll the palm inward. Pinky finger inward like you're turning a light bulb. And then push down through that back shin, left shin, and lengthen this whole left line. Like I'm going to crawl, crawl, crawl. And you can let the head lay over to the right now. We can start to lean right. And I'm just trying to get everything extended. Left shoulder blade up, 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 up. And then exhale, I'm going to bow that left arm all the way down to the floor, inside, and just in front of the right foot. Now curl the left toes under and lift the left knee off the ground. So, balancing the weight equally in all pieces of the body. And you can test yourself. If you want to slide your left hand further forward, your head is just looking forward toward that hand. And I'm trying to get length, like I'm going to crawl in a much more sophisticated, more challenging fashion. Crawl and lengthen through that left side. I can even spin my chest to the right and lift my right arm up to the sky. Shoulder blades protracted. Open, open, open the sails. Then take the right hand down to that right knee again. Come down with the back knee and slide your left hand back. You've extended it. And exhale, turn again to the right. And some of you can now pick up your left foot and take it into your right hand. Stretching the quad, pushing the knee, left knee back. And then release forward, coming up on your fingertips, placed either side of that right foot. Take a peek first. I curl my left toes under. I'm coming into a forward fold, a Parsvottanasana, lifting and straightening the right leg, creating a flat back. Again, this is like a back bend, cobra. I'm not saying do this. I'm just showing you the muscles of the back, which eventually allow us to do that. But we'll fold over that front leg. Come up to a flat back again. Now see if you can, just as we did moments ago, crawl your left fingers forward. Let your left shoulder blade wing away from the spine. Drop your head. And your right fingertips are back, just behind the outside of your right heel. Can you come up into triangle pose from here by reaching, just as I did earlier, lift that left arm off the ground. So just try this. Lift up, flat back, put it down. Lift up, toning the left leg, toning the whole left side, and then what happens? Everything comes up, wow, toning from the back leg. Beautiful triangle pose blossoms from the engagement of the left side. We come down, make our way to down dog, and set up for the other side. Spread your fingers and take the weight into all parts of the hand. Spread the shoulder blades, lift them up and forward off the back. Come forward to high plank, come down on your hands and knees. Sit back into Virasana. Once again, a little cat and cow wave that I showed you earlier, or advanced students can try the full wave from upward dog to downward dog using this technology. So watch. This is for the advanced students. Beginners, you're dropping your hips back, and then the shoulders come forward, like a big wave. And maybe you get to cobra with the control of the backs of the legs. Maybe. Advanced students from downward dog. I pull into the belly, I come forward in a curled head down action to high plank, and I roll right over the tops of the toes. Exhale down, I toe in the backs of the legs. Upward dog, I curl and pull back. It's a big wave. This is a big move for advanced students. Okay? So let's go ahead and take our downward dog again. And then we'll go ahead and step the left foot forward, drop the right knee down, come to low lunge. Place both hands on your front knee, lift your chest, inhale, sink down, exhale. So balance the attenuation between both front and back legs so that the outer hips are in symmetry, the hip axils. And then up comes that right arm, turn the light bulb, turn the pinky finger in. What am I doing? I'm trying to reach for a trapeze bar. The whole right scapula is lifting and protracting. All I'm doing is crawling on the floor again. Remember our crawl? And here we go, we crawl. And drop our head to the left, a little lateral stretch. And then we're going to reach to the floor. That right hand, we're going to curl our right toes under and lift the right knee off the ground. And how much you can reach your right fingertips forward is a matter of strength. So don't overdo, but I'm trying to crawl, crawl, crawl. Extend through the right side. And then sitting that right knee down and letting the right hand come back. Still have your left hand on your left knee, rotate your chest to the left. You guessed it, you can pick up the back foot in your left hand. The right foot, and if you get there, you got it. Push that right knee away from you to stretch your quad. Okay, then square off, releasing that foot. You're on your fingertips either side of front foot. We're coming into Parsvottanasana, which is a forward fold over the left leg. So we curl the right toes under and we straighten both legs, lifting to a flat back. And if you've done your work so far in class, I'm not saying you should do this, it's just that the flat back is not created by pushing your arms down, it's by the back extensors. So if I were a crazy person, I'd be doing something like this. But I want you to just feel the action, then take it to the ground. Then start to slide, as we just did moments ago, your right fingertips forward. You can even nod your head to the left. And reach by toning the back of the right leg. Allows the extension of the right arm. And then we can come right into a lift. Just go ahead and inhale, lift that right arm off the ground. Play with it. From the tone of the back leg hammy. And then up you come. All the way up to triangle pose. You can come up and down a few times if you want. And then down you go on your way to downward dog, where you take 5 or 6 breaths, and then a child's pose while I grab my water.
So come on up to your downward dog. And now we can play a little bit in our half pigeon. So let's lift our right leg up to the sky, bend our right knee, and start to stack the right hip over the left. What is this? But our crawl again. Our crawl again. Shift forward to high plank. See if you can just tap your outer right elbow with your right knee. Strength move. Suddenly the game gets harder. Inhale, extend back. Exhale, bend the right knee, come forward to high plank. And see if you can tap and hover on that outer right elbow. Pull your belly in. One more, but this time we'll come into half pigeon. I'm going to swing that leg, right leg into place, slide back, and we're going to drift down onto our forearms in the same manner that moments ago at the beginning of class, I had you take easy cobra arms with hands to the sky, and then start to slide your forearms forward and drop your head inside the elbows. You guessed it. You can do the little game, and I'm just going to shift my body where you can see it better. You can do the little game we played earlier to learn how to use the back extensors. You tone the backs of the legs, the glutes, then slide your forearms up and under your shoulders. Easy cobra, exhale, you go forward. And so now I don't have an idle half pigeon. I'm really toning around the pelvis and the backs of the legs. So that those people that like to play in cobra and half pigeon know how to tone. They come all the way up, their hands separate, and now I'm safely up in this cobra pattern. In the half pigeon. Likewise, how about our baby crawl? Come down onto our forearms and start to slide our left arm forward, lay our head on it, like we did in Anahanda earlier. Same thing, except now, instead of having that right foot on the ground, we've got this hip tucked under. And what did we do? Well, we took a twist. And this is only for the advanced people, because this is a black diamond move. So most of you are just having your right hand supporting you on your face. If you've gotten this far, others reach up to the sky, right arm, and you wrap it behind your back, grab your right big toe. I'm just showing you this silly stuff so that you know or see what's possible. So the twists and the back bends, or the extensors, are part of the same parcel. Let's come up and make our way to the other side. So we'll take a downward dog and try the other side. First downward dog with the left leg lift. Then the left knee, stack the hips. What's happening in the upper body? Is it still flirting with a cobra extension, chest lifting? Exhale, shift the shoulders forward, pull that left knee and see if you can tap your left elbow. Elbow slightly bent, by the way. Inhale back, exhale forward, tap. This is advanced crawling. And then the last time, inhale back, exhale, bend knee, and swing that left knee across, or the shin across. Come down, slide back. I've shown you various options over the past year. And then you come onto your forearms and check it out. If I spin my palms to the sky, and if I can, I start to slide the arms forward, maybe Some of you need a towel for your head because you can't get the head to the ground, or some yoga block. And it feels good just to chill out there. But if you want to work the strength, what happens? On inhale, the first engagement, those outer glutes, those outer hips, and the backs and legs, and they pull your forearms back, and you look up. Exhale, you slide forward. Inhale, tone, like you're bringing the knees toward one another, squeezing and compacting the outer hips. And then exhale, release. And this action, once you get it, is like gold because it pulls you all the way up. I don't even need my hands. I can play in all sorts of ways with the pulling back, the backs, the legs, upper back. So be careful because everybody's body is differently constructed. Now we take our twist, which, as I mentioned, was a complement to the back bend. Now, some people are in class are like, there's no way that I can do that twist you did before. Half pigeon, what are you going to do? You just walk your hands, your straight arms over to the left. That's your twist. But you're going to push down through that extended right leg. So the right hand reaches, the right leg pushes. But others can lay down on that right arm without catastrophe visiting them, or take a towel between the head and the arm. And then as you extend your right side arm and leg, you start to roll and twist. Maybe the left arm comes up to the sky, and you grab your left big toe. If you've spent too many years doing yoga, let's come up, and rather than go back to downward dog, we'll do a couple of finishing twists. So let's take a half Lord of the Fishes by taking the right foot across to the outside of the left knee. If your sitting bones are not able to both find the ground, waggle back and forth, or sit on a towel, and then you're going to bind around that front shin, which is your right shin. Lift your chest. So even doing a simple move like this where you're pulling against your front shin, this is going to be a way to work the back extensors, to lift that potato chip curl, as they've been calling it, all the way up the spine. But be careful that you don't overpower with the arms, so you can't just get the action independently with the muscles we've been working on back bend. And then we're going to rotate our twist over to the right and hook our left forearm on that outer leg. Same thing. I could be a bad chiropractor to myself, and I could wrench with my arms my spine into the twist. Great, except what happens 2 days from now. So instead, I use my own tools and hug the outer hip points together, toning the base of the structure. And then I work up the low back, the mid back, the upper back. And so it takes some awareness, some intelligence. Can you possibly take that right knee and place it now on top of the left knee to come in Gomukhasana? Now, if you can't, if you're blessed with inflexibility, you could take a towel, bunch it up, and squish it between the two knees. This is the mouth of the cow. The knee joints are like a mouth of a cow chewing. So your knees can chew, they can masticate on your towel, or you just bind under that upper knee again. Same thing, what are we doing by binding and pushing down? We're toning the outer glutes. You can reach back and feel that lifts us up. Then if you want to take the full pose, right arm comes up, elbow bends, and the right hand comes back behind the head. The left hand to the right elbow, lift up. Manual lift of the scapula and the stretch of the armpit, ribs and subscapularis. And then maybe you can bind the hands together behind the back. What happened to the action of squeezing the medial glutes and hugging the whole package? Those that can't get the hands together, just take your towel up in your right hand and drape it down. Again, this is considered a back bend, an extension. And it really pulls together nicely, knits together the thoracic spine. You could then bow forward. Now you lift up, engage the outer glutes again. Let's try the other side. So much fun to revisit an old familiar pose in a different way. The left foot comes outside that right knee. You bind the left shin, pulling your chest toward it. But let's not forget, how are the sit bones, how are the outer hip action? And we should be able to do this without the bind eventually. Just through the action of your coiled legs, squeezing the legs together. Then you rotate left, take the left hand, the right hand to the left knee rather, rotating left, or you can get the whole forearm. Here's where it gets tricky because a lot of folks are remembering the day back when you would get your entire armpit into that left knee and grab your toe like this and have a contortion. Maybe you can still do that safely. But most of the time, you get so caught up in the chiropractor that you forget the extensors of the low back. So work the way up the back from the squeeze of the outer hips. Enjoy the ride. Come back to center and double up the knees, Gomukhana. And take your towel and let the cow mouth chew it. And just spending that few moments getting the lower body to engage the proper way. Then if you want to take the full pose with the arms, left elbow bends up, left hand behind head, right hand push into that left elbow, lift the scapula way up, and then you can do your full wrap. The arms, the thoracic spine lifts pleasantly from the root of the squeezed outer hips. And you can bow forward. Let's come up, lay down, take a few moments in Shavasana or anything you want to do, and then we'll close class. Let the legs spread out a little, arms spread out. Relax the legs and the arms. Relax the tongue and the jaw and the face, the shoulders, and the hips. And just roll the head from left to right. And take at least a few breaths to release your back body from service. We used it quite a bit into the ground. So feel the back body, the backs of the legs, hips, around the spine, releasing, spreading out into the floor. You can stay as long as you like in Shavasana or bend your knees, roll to your preferred side, come up seated, close off on time, and Sukhasana with the palms to the heart. hopefully it's useful, and that's what we're going to be working with